Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Green. My name's Norma, your host of whatever, and happy Halloween. Let's jump right in. Love is Blind, season 7, reunion. Disclaimer, right here, right now, I'm gonna have some unpopular opinions. Probably gonna seem, I feel like it's gonna come off across woman-hatey, but I don't think so because I'm holding everyone accountable, but I'm not about to be gaslit by nobody on this reunion, okay? Because this was fucking ridiculous. When I tell you I spent the entire reunion being like, what the, are you kidding me? What are they talking about? Is this for real? People inserting themselves where they really didn't need to be inserting themselves, and I hope they look back at this and they're like, oh, that was kind of silly. We start off with the guys having gone on a fishing trip. It was Garrett, Tyler, and Tim. Very cute. The pictures are cute. They look like they had a great time. Although it's not really all that important to us because of all the drama that happens on the show, the bonds that like the cast create are really beautiful. Now what I hate, and it almost always happens with the girls, is the fake bonds, right? We're calling each other best friends in the world. We're sneak dissing, but then being like, no, they're my friend. I was just going through it. And it's like, don't do that. And it's not just this season. It's like almost every season there's a group of girls that are like, we're best friends. But then they was like talking shit, mad at each other. Like, what are we doing? What game are we playing here? After the fishing trip, I believe they addressed like Garrett and Taylor shortly. Yeah, and I think they addressed, I think, Garrett and Taylor and Ashley and Tyler, but I think kind of like a quick, I can't even remember, you know, like a quick little like, how you feeling now? Or like, are you still together type of thing? And then they moved to Ashley and Tyler to talk about the whole kids situation. Tyler refers to them as those kids, which is wonderful. But he continues the lie that they are sperm babies. It was a sperm donation for a couple. The wife left her high and dry and he stepped up, and it's a conflict. I don't want to hear it. The fake freaking tears. Those weaponized ass tears. Like, this man is the king of manipulation, baby, because he got Ashley on the palm of his hand. We're watching so we see it, but who knows? Maybe we would be fooled by that too. The tears are too much, and if I'm being real with you, I felt that way from jump. That's the lie he's telling, and Ashley's standing by her man, okay? She said, who knows better, her or social media? Social media. Social media. You really need to listen to social media, girl. Because what is going on? They're sticking to this explanation, right? Which would be great if it was just the little boy. Because so there's a little boy who's the older sibling and then 2 twin girls. Okay? Keep in mind, he steps up because the wife left her high and dry. After the little boy. The twins have his last name. Now, I'll give Ashley the benefit of the doubt that the baby mama hadn't come out yet with her videos explaining that the twins were conceived naturally, like in a moment of attraction. So I can give her that. What I cannot give her is literally anything else, because at the end of the day, like, I believe she chose not to do her research and just be blind. I think she chose to believe what he was saying and run with that because it was easier than looking for information and finding information she did not want to find. I was gonna say, like, her facilitating him not having a relationship with them is crazy, but if she just believes that because here's, okay, Ashley's perspective, according, like, based on this reunion, is that he donated sperm to this couple twice. They had all these kids, then the wife just bounced, no reason, no nothing, just left her, and Tyler stepped up to be the parental figure. He was from a single parent household. He didn't want that for them, so he tried to step up as a dad, and the situation just didn't work out that way, and so he removed himself, right? If you're asking me, that's still not okay, because to the kids, you stepped up. Like, it just, the whole situation does not make a ton of sense. And so to sit here and be like, well, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, Ashley made her decision. She chose to stay with him, is like, that doesn't really make sense, because no, like, those poor kids. Those poor kids. Like, and so I hope we get to hear from Ashley about what Bree has stated, because you guys, like, it's just not, I don't think she is, though. I think she's going to continue with the sperm donor lie, because if there's no definitive proof that that wasn't the case. However, Bree and her ex-wife do not like each other, owe each other no loyalties, and there were lies in everybody's story,
But one thing that was consistent between both of them was that the twins were conceived naturally. The twins have his last name. Like, there's not really any denying that, because yeah, it's just no, because fine, they didn't have the ex-wife's last name or whatever the case may be. They would have just had Bri. I keep calling her Bri, but I think it's Bri according to her ex-wife. They would have Bri's last name. Like, why would she give them Tim's last name? It just does not make sense. And if I were Ashley, I'd be like, okay, fine, we'll go with the sperm donating story, but you already inserted yourself as a parental figure in those kids' lives. We need to figure out how we can continue to do that for them. And it doesn't seem that way, because I feel like she would have said that, right? Like, that would be something you'd want to publicize when this situation is already so public. But they're sticking by that lie. Like I said, I hope we get to hear statements after this that will explain things, that will clarify something, but we probably won't, and we're just gonna have to be okay with that. I'm sad because Ashley seemed so dope throughout the show, but this is not okay. Like, these are children, these are babies who are innocent, and for you to sit here and just be like, yeah, too bad for them, they lost their dad. Like, I don't know, you know, and she cannot act blind now, especially. Show her back then, maybe she could, because Bri hadn't come out with her story, but everything is out now. We get her mom talking about she learning from them. Girl, don't learn from them. Nobody learned from them. If her mama want to do that, fine. Guys out there, please don't. We move on to Marissa and Ramsy's, and it's more of the same. It's him explaining his side, her explaining how hurt she was by it. He does, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I understand him more. Now it literally was just like her personality would have been too much for him, and that is okay. Like, that, it sucks that he should not have waited until right before the wedding to say that, because that's something you would have like realized long term. In his defense a little bit, I think he was trying to reconcile that. Like, maybe he still was like, I think I can handle it, right? Like, he wasn't completely sure that he couldn't be with that, right? And so maybe just up until that point. And the reality is, I know you don't want to hear it, I know none of us do, that's the purpose of this show, right? Like, the actual experiment is supposed to be to get to the altar and say yes or no. Now, because of all the slack they've been getting on social media for people who watch, I feel like the show has gotten loose with that and have let, each season, they let more and more couples break up before the weddings. But the purpose of the show is supposed to be get to the aisle, and that's where you make your decision, right? That's the whole, like, of it, right? Is like, oh, like, we won't know until they're standing in front of each other at their wedding, right? And so I will say in his defense, there is that. So it's like, it's supposed to be, and you have a lot of couples on the show in this season and past who've been like, I wanted to see it through. I wanted to see it through to the altar like we're supposed to, and then make my decision. Even if they were like, it's probably a no, but it was like, you never know, right? Like, up until you get, I think Paul, on the season with Micah was like, yeah, like, I really didn't know my answer until I got up there. And he said that her telling him go first kind of solidified, like, put him on one side of that answer, you know? So, yeah, I understand him in that. I will say he was wrong in, I just finished saying he wasn't. I will say it's unfortunate that it had to be like that last minute kind of like confusing thing for Marissa. But also, Marissa was saying to him, oh, it's the price of falling in love. So it's hard. It's a difficult situation. I cannot be like, oh, he ain't shit and she ain't shit. And then they do clarify the birth control conversation. I've stated how I feel about it. I personally feel like neither party was wrong in that situation, contrary to popular beliefs and opinions. I think both parties are entitled to what they want. The end result, though, needs to be that you separate and find somebody who's okay with that. Nobody should be compromising comfort or security in sexual situations. So what I mean by that is, in their situation, he wanted to do it without a condom. She did not, because she does not want birth control, or cannot. I believe there are health reasons she can't be on birth control. And so there's not really a compromise there, because that's making someone uncomfortable, even if it's only 50% of the time you have sex, or whatever it is that you decide to do. So it's like, you go find somebody who's okay with birth control, you go find somebody who likes condoms. Like, that's all I got for you. Like, but anyways, yeah, her mom, which it was nice to see this side of her, because we definitely saw a different side of her. She was just hurt for her daughter. She was fully there for her daughter. That much is clear. She says even though she wanted to punch him in the throat, she tried to talk to him, and she appreciates that he called it off because her daughter would have kept it going. And that's really all we need to know, was like Marissa would have stayed in that shit. Which is crazy because we also did see a lot of things Marissa didn't like, right? So we can pretend and be like, oh, Ramsey's, but they both just weren't cut for each other. And he was just the one who unfortunately had to be the one to say, yeah, we need to stop. We move on to Hannah and Nick. And this situation pissed me off the most of the entire absolute reunion. Here is my thing. And I'm going to acknowledge who's wrong. And neither party is the winner or the angel here, okay? But, okay, first little piece of this segment is Vanessa trying to get Hannah to say sorry. Trying to get her to see that it was just shitty. She does not. She proceeds to say, I know, I'm direct. It's not, I'm so sick of people being bitchy and mean and a bully and nasty to people and then saying, I'm just direct. No, you're just mean. There is directness and there's mean. Directness would be, hey, Nick, I really need a partner who's going to equal this out. How can we, that's direct. I'm being direct in my need. How do we move forward? What's not direct is you can be an equal when you start acting like an equal. What the fuck is the point? What does that do for somebody? That does nothing. That's just mean. Like, I know that you don't remember things and I do. I know that you don't do that, but I do. That's mean. That's not direct. And then she's like, I know, I'm a bitch. I get it. Like, you've learned nothing. You lost weight. You look great. Your insides. You need to lose some weight on the insides, okay? You need to, and she was on the Vial Files, and still, I did say sorry to him, but it's like, what the heck does your sorry mean if you're like, but I was direct. So what are you apologizing for? And then, of course, we have Hannah proceeding to try to gaslight all of us into making this Nick's fault. What happened after the fact? Not okay, but not relevant. She claims after they broke it off, they're putting his stuff up, her and her friends, they find his notebook with his 90-day goals, and she's playing. Y'all, she found that notebook a long time ago. She held on to that little thing just in case. She didn't happen upon that with her friends packing things up in the apartment. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. But anyways, 90-day goal. He had 3 goals. It was sell 2 homes, best shape of his life for those 2 weeks, and then become the most famous person on Love is Blind, right? She tries to say, oh, that was 2 weeks before we went on the show, 2 weeks before we went on the show. He said it's 90-day goals. So 3 months before that, you put the date you want them accomplished and what the goals are, which it's the whole manifesting thing, right? You speak like it's already there. So I fully believe that. And Nick totally seems like a little manifesting king, okay? Like, that's just his vibe. And so, and he said, that was 3 months before. I didn't even know if I was going to be on the show. So that's the thing. And again, like I just said in the beginning of this, you all want to be famous. We're not going to sit here and pretend that Nick fully faked being in love with Hannah, faked who he was and how kind he was to be fake. No, that's not what that was. I'm sorry. You cannot convince me that that's what that was. That was her Hail Marying, trying to find a way to shift the blame from her. Even if you found that, your nastiness was just your nastiness because you found that after you were nasty to him. Speaking of, then we move into the next piece of this segment, which is claiming he called her grenade. He was talking about her looks to everyone, yada, yada, yada. Now, Marissa also jumps in on this. And so what I want to say, what I got from the way Marissa was speaking is nobody told Hannah until this relationship was over. That's clear to me. I don't know if that was clear to you. Which means, once again, has nothing to do with how nasty you were through the relationship. We don't find out information after the fact, and then we're like, that's probably why I was insecure. No, because you didn't have that information. So that has nothing to do with why you were doing what you were doing. So, like, again, another Hail Mary, and then Marissa jumps in trying to, like, so basically Marissa gets Steven to say, like, yeah, that happened. She gets Ramses to say, yeah, that happened. I'll be real. I don't want to have to admit this. He probably did call her a grenade. I think he thought he was talking in confidence with his friends. I think it's shitty of Steven and Ramses to speak on that. We've had plenty of seasons where women have been like, he told, my partner told me what he said to him, and their partners are like, mum's the fucking word. And that's just the reality. Okay, I know I'm probably gonna get hate for that, but it's the same thing for the girls. I guarantee none of them girls had said anything about another girl saying something mean about their guy. Why? You are friends. You're not, like, that's so shitty. And I know Nick must have felt like, damn, these were supposed to be my friends, okay? Garrett, with respectfully, I'm sure he was talking to Garrett about it too. And Garrett said, this isn't mature. I don't got nothing to say besides I want this to be over. And I agree with him. Like, that's so lame of his friends to do. And he probably called her that, and that was fucked up. But we're not going to pretend we haven't said similar things in confidence to friends about somebody. We, like, with our friends, you just let out your thoughts and your feelings. And she didn't like the way he looked either. So once again, here we are trying to villainize him to save herself. But you said the same shit about him. Like, I know I said I was a foot taller than him, and I'm not, but I just how I felt at the time. Okay, and then that's how he felt at the time. Moving forward, it was like jab after jab to try to make him look bad. Marissa's jumping in to try to make him look bad, but only makes her look worse because she's like, she was a bitch to me too sometimes. Done with them. Done. Can't do it anymore. Don't want to do it anymore. Okay? I cannot believe it. And I was... Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say I was hopeful. I knew, me and my friend were like watching it together, and we were both, well, she was on the phone, but we were both like, could we have expected anything less? That is exactly what we expected Hannah to do. So, needless to say, Nick was messed up for making those comments. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was, some people just are not like responsive people. And I said that actually when we talked about their breakup. Like, some people are not like, well, you and some people do not have mean things to say to you. Some people don't see anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the way Nick speaks, I think that her directness didn't really bother him, if that makes sense. Or her meanness, I should say, because that was not directness in my opinion. Her meanness did not bother him. What bothered him was that she would say, like, oh, you're not respectful, and then go and tell her friends, I love him because he's respectful. That's, I feel like, where he was at. I don't think he had an issue with what we had an issue with, Hannah. I think his issue was like, girl, I'm not understanding, because, like, you're telling me one thing, then I'm hearing another, or you're, like, saying something else. Like, you're contradicting the information at all times, so I'm not sure where I stand or what I'm meant to do here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think her directness made him, like, not like her. And Marissa, baby, you should have just kept your mouth shut. Because then she'd go on and be like, well, because then Nick is like, which, I'm sorry, valid. If I was so nasty, if I was so fake, if she didn't know who I was, why did she try to get with me 2 weeks later? And she's like, I wasn't healed, I wasn't whole. So then shut your mouth. Because I'm sorry, that makes zero sense. So you're like, oh, this person was just in it for fame. But that doesn't bother me enough to, like, never do anything with him again. Now I'm gonna, like, I just wanted sex. Like, girl, Katie's in the crowd. She's sitting next to Marissa's mom. And they bring up the Katie and Nick discussion. Katie was basically crushed. She's like, I thought we were friends. We were the Three Musketeers, her, Hannah, and Marissa. She's like, we were cool. I would have never thought that anything I did or said would make her insecure, would make her feel some type of way. She basically says, Nick and I... Basically, she says that they never cut it off in the pause. Like, they never had a date where she got to tell him, like, hey, this is why, like, I'm not continuing or whatever. And so that's what that conversation was. She says we're both charismatic, so I'm sure it came off in a different way than it wasn't. And again, I said that with Nick. I'm like, some people just are like that. And it, like, I don't believe there's anything wrong with that. Like, to someone like me, it would seem flirty and I would not be with someone like that. But to someone else, it wouldn't. They're the perfect example of that. Hannah, that made her insecure. Why are you flirting? Even if it was an older lady who was just trying to race him on a duck. Like, Katie, that wouldn't have bothered her. Katie would have been laughing. Katie would have been on duck with him like, I'm gonna beat this bitch for your heart. Like, on some shit. That's the thing. Like, I hate that just in general, not just on the show, but like when it comes to like relationships or like people being together, we like to be like, this person's wrong and this person's right, when a lot of the times it's just we have two different styles of being, and we need to decide that either it's okay, we're gonna compromise, or like I want this specific thing. Like, it's just frustrating when we're like, yeah, that's wrong, he shouldn't be charismatic ever again, and it's like, no, he just needs to find someone who's okay with that charisma being out there in the world, you know? But anyways, back to Katie. She was crushed. She's like, I sent her flowers. Like, she's like, I felt awful. Like, and she says, like, I just need to know, like, was there truth to you saying you didn't trust me? Because that shit hurt. And then, of course, gaslight queen Hannah is like, no, I totally trust you, girl. Like, that, I don't know why I said that. It was just in the moment. It was an argument, you know? I think just like, you know, someone, like, you're trying to keep your relationship well. And so when someone says, oh, that Katie can't be trusted. And so you're like, oh yeah, maybe I can't trust Katie, just to end the argument, you know? And I was like, oh, hell no. And this was something that in the one video that I watched in the comments of like someone recapping or whatever, I didn't really see people seeing that. Cause I was like, I know she did not sit here and now try to blame him for what she said about her friend. Like, is that not insanity to you? Because it's insanity to me. Like, you have, it's all his fault. Everything she did on that show is because of Nick somehow. Somehow everything leads back to Nick. Now she's trying to claim that Nick told her she shouldn't trust Katie. And she was like, yeah, I guess I shouldn't trust Katie, just to end the argument. What the fuck are you talking about? He literally said, go talk to Katie. That's a you and a Katie issue. I think he says, like, if you don't trust her, that's your issue or something. He didn't say not to. Don't do that. I'm done with her. I got to tap out right here because are you kidding me? And then when Marissa's mom leaned over and said, but she made you feel like shit for a year, period. Leo and Brittany come out. They're like, oh, like, what did they tell you about why you weren't going to be continuing on, whatever? And, you know, they were like, we understood. We were the weakest link. She's like, I hadn't said I love you. They take this serious. They try to follow couples who they think are going to say yes at the altar. So we all understood that. Nobody was like, whatever. They did go to Miami. And basically what she says is like, going on vacation together is where you really see things. And it's true, especially if you don't live together, because that's where you're going to see a little glimpses of what that would be like, right? Little habits that people do, how they live. You're going to see if you're going to leave the room a mess or you're going to keep yourself in your suitcase, what you're going to do. But they say they're really, really good friends now. Tim vouches for Leo. You know, he's an out loud thinker and that can get him in trouble. And so that's why it seemed like he was talking a lot about money, because he was just kind of, but they all think he's great. They all like him. He really leaned into like making fun of himself on social media. So like, I'm all for Leo. We're okay with Leo now. He redeemed himself very well. Vanessa asks him like what he has to say to each girl or whatever, you know, and so he says to Hannah like that temper tantrum was not okay, yada yada. I don't, whatever. It was him freaking out because he thought he was losing to me. So I don't necessarily, I don't know. I'm not like, oh my god, that's so like huge red flag, whatever. I just was like, it was just in whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but maybe it's because I don't like Hannah. I don't know. I don't think it is, but there is that biases. And then he, of course, you know, tells Brittany, like, yeah, I should have put you through that. I'm so sorry. Steven and Monica. Okay. Steven, dead ass wrong. Terrible. I'm tired of hearing people say, I'm in therapy, I'm doing the work. Like, sir, you told her you did the work when you cheated on whoever that other partner was, when you told her about that in the pods. So we're not going to pretend like, oh, okay, well, he's doing the work. Like, I mean, granted, he probably is doing the work in the sense of like, why do I keep doing this? Which I hope so. But not the time or place for that. However, it was so annoying to me that Monica tries to do that. And I think she just got hyped up by what was going on with all the other girls. So she was like, yeah, like, and she starts basically kind of shitting on him again about it. And, you know, he's like, we went on a date. And she's like, not a date, we went to dinner. He's like, sorry, we went to dinner and discussed it. Like, everything was fine. And yeah, that annoyed me because on the show itself, she's at that 60s, 70s party, whatever it was. She's like, yeah, we talked it out. Like, we're totally good. Yeah, I wished him the best. I'd been asking, I think she said Garrett, someone to check on him for me. Like, so again, similar to the kind of Nick thing. It's like, you cannot, like, you go get cool with him and then you get back on TV. Yeah, let me trash him because everyone else is trashing him. That's stupid. Stand by what you did. If you are cool, like, you've buried the hatchet, stand by that. You say, we're good. Like, that was fucked up, but we're good. We've talked about it. We've both moved on from that. You got excited, got around your little girls, because this was a He-Man hate club with these girls. I'm sorry, and I know that's an unpopular opinion. Girls, girl, and all that, right? Girls can do no wrong. You know, girls aren't allowed to comment on other girls' wrongs, whatever. It was He-Man hate club up there. They were all like, we're gonna just fucking say everything to make this guy look bad for you. Like, it's just stupid. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, yeah. Steven kind of calls that out, but then he's like, no matter what I say, no one's gonna believe me. And it's like, yeah, because it was just shitty. Like, you can't really try to explain it away. It was a gross thing to do, and just stand on that, which he tried to. I thought it was stupid when he brings up, like, you know, I wrote a letter to her dad, and she's like, oh my God, this is what you did. I knew you were going to do it, bring it on a show. And it's like, no, like, he didn't say, I wrote a letter to her dad, let me tell you what it said. He literally was like, I'm in therapy, I wrote a letter to her dad. Like, he was just kind of stating the things he's doing to right his wrong. You know, we don't know him to know whether all of that was genuine or not. But it's just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the energy. He dead ass wrong for what he did, but you squashed it. Apparently twice. So why are you still trying to, like, it don't make no sense. It don't. Tim and Alex. Okay. It was a back and forth. This is why I broke it off. No, you were this and that and blah, 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 blah. And, okay, first things first. Alex is like, basically she's like, no assault happened. She claims that she was trying to get him to be quiet because she didn't want him to look bad to production. That is an assault, babes. You put your hand on his mouth. You put your hand, like, no. And then also, on the show, it's clear when they're talking about it, it was like, we're both heated, speaking to each other, put my hand on your mouth. It's clear that these two people don't feel like anyone was being abused, whether verbally or otherwise, so we can cross that off. However, arguments get heated and they do get loud. And so we're not going to pretend. And we've seen the way Tim speaks. Is it annoying? Yeah. Is he like a little bit very like, you did this one thing and I'm done? Sometimes it can seem. Yes. Nobody, like, other than in abusive situations, people don't like escalate by themselves. So she's trying to play off like, oh, he was yelling and yada, yada, yada. And she's like, oh, and he was this and he was that. They both seem to agree that he escalated after she called him a little B word. Any man, most men would. I will say any man. Most men would feel very disrespected by that. She's trying to play like he could do no wrong, everything I did was wrong, yada, yada, yada. When honestly, it seems pretty like even that both people were just doing things the other person didn't like, or like she was doing things he didn't like and he wasn't like appropriately reacting for her to the things happening in her life, whatever it was. I think they were both like genuine in this. Tim's personality isn't for everybody. Her personality isn't for everybody. Again, this one does come down to just being like, okay, this is who I am, this is who you are. And because, okay, I'm gonna get eaten alive for this, but I don't really see that Tim was in the wrong. I think it was kind of crazy to just kind of be like, oh, I'm done. But when you hear them both speaking, it's clear that it was just a series of events where he was just like, this does not work for me. And it sucks to hear her just kind of be like, for a nap or for not washing dishes or whatever it was. And it's like, okay, like, you're clearly able to list multiple things you did that he didn't like. So like, okay, you might not agree with that. Your friends might not agree with that. I might not. You guys listening might not. That doesn't make him wrong. It's just, once again, expectations he has and expectations she has that are different. These two just did not belong together. I don't think either party was wrong. I'm just being real. After hearing what they said on the reunion, I feel like Tim's reaction in the breakup scene was just that he was fed up. I can't say whether that's right or wrong. Like, to some people that might seem rash or whatever, you know, like it came out of nowhere. But based on what they said in the reunion, it doesn't sound like it did. It sounds like there were things going on that he was like, okay, this person doesn't care about me. Now, that was his interpretation of what happened, which we hear a lot of with the couples that didn't make it, of like, I saw it this way, you saw it this way. And so again, I don't think either party is wrong. I just think that both people were not getting what they needed in a relationship, and it's good that it was called quits. Really quickly though, Brittany interjects to be like, you've been laughing the whole time she's been talking, that's disrespectful. Okay, so then what are Alex's facial expressions? Every time he was talking, Alex was like, I'm like, girl, this is where I'm like, people need to stop interjecting because you look crazy. Another thing that I feel like wasn't caught, where I'm like, they were both making faces. Like, and if it's disrespectful, then they both be disrespectful, baby. So call your friend out. Because literally right after she says that and Tim goes to talk, Alex is like, so like, what are we doing? Anyways, I had to point that out because I was like, Brittany, that's stupid. That's stupid to be like, oh, you've been laughing at me. Okay, and she's been making disgusted faces. Like, what's your point? What are we getting at here? We wrap it up with like photos of the past year for Garrett and Taylor and Ashley and Tyler. The Garrett and Taylor one, I honestly obsessed. They are so golden couple. You guys, they're gonna be right up there with Lauren and Cameron, with Zach and Bliss, like with all the happy couples. I love it. I love this for them. And their montage was just so adorable and genuine. It was so stinking cute, okay? Which to the opposing side. Then we get Tyler and Ashley's. And I don't think I'm being biased. You could say I am, and that's fine. That's your opinion. But theirs just gave fake. Theirs was just a bunch of montages of her face and his. You can't tell where they are, what they're doing. Like, it's just their faces. And then, like, the stupid matching Christmas pajamas. Are you fucking kidding? They put that shit in on purpose. They had to have been like, were you wearing matching pajamas? Put that in there for us. Like, where are the kids, Ashley? Where are the children? And then there's, like, 3 season 8 cast members, and Vanessa points them out. She's like, without giving anything away, why? And it's like, girl, save that for next season. What are we doing? Wrap it up. We need to be done. Ugh. Honorable mentions: AD is there, Jessica is there, Marshall is there, and Zach and Bliss are there. They have a little moment where they show Zach and Bliss's story really quickly. Her baby's like in the back with her mom. They talk to Marshall. I think they just had him there so he could announce his breakup. AD is there saying she's in a relationship but it's private. And then she was there doing everything she could to get airtime, making faces and hands and period, agreeing with Hannah of all people. Get some help, baby. Then we had Jessica and her husband, and I have to admit that probably was my favorite little, like, including old cast member segment, because we know we're not fans of this, but that was really cute to hear how, like, they were a COVID couple and he had kids and she really embraced them, and you know, their family, and just the way she speaks is beautiful. The wedding, gorgeous. I love me like a bougie little, like, wedding, you know, like she had a beautiful dress and then the second beautiful dress. It was just, I enjoyed that. And that wraps this up. Season 7 is over. I had so much fun talking to you guys. I need to find something else to watch. Hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts because this reunion had me talking the entire time. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.